Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well, because doing well is the most important thing than anything else in our life, guys. But do we really take care of our mental health like we take care of our physical health? I don't think so. And there's also stigma attached that if someone in India, especially in India, because if someone is going through or suffering from depression or mental illness, you are supposed to deal with it by yourself somehow. So this video is going to be totally dedicated. This video is going to be totally about depression, and I have a very special guest in my channel today. This is my husband, also a doctor. So today he's going to explain everything about depression, what are the signs and symptoms, how one can come out of it, and is it curable. Everything about depression he's going to discuss with us, and I'm so happy to have you in my channel.
It's my pleasure.
So guys, I'm going to be sharing my depression story as well in this video. What I've gone through and what were the signs and symptoms that I've had and how did I get help from. So yeah, to know my depression story, please do watch this video completely. So first thing first, can you please explain everyone what is a depression?
Okay. Basically, depression, it's a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness, and the person will be losing interest in everything, and they may feel that they are not worthy to live. So that is a usual classical definition. When you see, there are a lot of definition, but in simpler terms, when you say it is a mood disorder, and the person will have losing an interest in everything. So that's basically what is depression.
And what is stress?
See, stress again is a very common term that we use. Okay, so every person that is having a stress may not be depressed. Every person with depression may have stress. So it is interconnected, but stress, it just might be a moment. You might be having a bad day at your office. You may be stressed up with something else, maybe with your juniors or someone. It will be just a passing. It will just pass off just like that. But depression, it is not like that. It may stay with you for a long time. Also, stress can also stay with you for a long time, but it is different from depression.
So it's like everybody in life goes through stress at some point of time,
Yeah.
for sure. But
Yes.
depression is not just like stress. It is totally different from what stress is.
Yes.
So it is a more severe form of stress, is
Yeah.
what we call it.
Yeah. Yes. It is, as I told, it's a mood disorder. So again, stress can be there for some time, and after some time, it will not be there. But if the depression, usually the classical depression is the person, if you start getting depressed, it will stay with them for a long time, and majority of the time they may need to take an expert help.
In case of depression.
In case of depression.
Can you please tell us what are the signs and symptoms of depression?
The most important signs and symptoms will be the person will be feeling low. That will be the key feature, and there will be lack of interest. So majority of the time they will feel sad, and they show lack of interest in doing any activity. Maybe they will be less talking with their friends, maybe connecting with their family. All will be very less. And the most important thing when you ask them is regarding their sleep cycle. So they might be usually deprived of sleep. Maybe they will have late nights. They will be waking up, and they will not have a proper sleep. When you say proper sleep, you should have at least 6 to 7 hours of solid sleep in your night time. So that will be lacking. And the most important, the major symptoms, one of the things they feel lost. So they feel like they are not worthy to live, and they may have suicidal thoughts. When you see a milder symptoms, it will be like they will be not having any interest, maybe decreased communication, everything. But when you come to the severe form of depression, they will have suicidal thoughts, and maybe they will have 1 or 2 attempts of doing suicide also. So deliberate self-harm, that's one of the key features when you see regarding depression. So these are the usual symptoms by which the patient can come to meet a doctor.
So while speaking about suicide, is
Yeah.
it very common for someone with depression to have suicidal thoughts?
See, to have suicidal thoughts is one of the major thing in depression. So when you see the event, what is happening, when you look at the number of suicide, every 40 seconds, one person is committing suicide in this world. So that is the significance of depression. So one of the major reason for depression, one of the major reason for suicide is depression. So it is always interconnected. So it can be a stressful event, somebody can commit suicide, but when you see there is a problem within their mind for a longer time, when they are not able to cope up with, when there is no help provided to them, the thing that they will do is to commit a suicide.
So is there any gender prevalence, like females have more depression or males, something like that?
See, when you look at the history, when you look into the history, there was more of females having depression. That was the when you look at the history. When you look at the present situation, almost it is equal among males and females. There is no major difference between males and females. So anybody can have depression.
But why do you think that women had depression more?
See, maybe because of the society, maybe the whatever be the so-called the Indian traditions, many a times will be like
Exactly.
making sure that the female should sit at home and should be looking after the family, and they should not do what they like. So those things will be the one of the major reasons why female had more incidence of depression.
It's because they don't get the proper support.
Even if when you look to the present status also, it is little bit higher side to the female side only.
Even now,
The incidence of depression, but male numbers are also increasing. So there's nothing to do with the gender aspect, it is to do with your mind.
is there any age factor like only older individuals can have depression or anybody can have depression?
That's a very good question, because when we talk about depression, we always think about the adults. So only not only the adults, but also children are very prone to develop depression. So when you look at the children, there is a lot of incidents of child abuse these days. So they will be getting child abuses, which they are not able to reveal to their parents. So instead of that, they will say that I am not interested to go to school. So that can be one of the reasons. They may be underweight, they will not be eating properly, they will not be showing any interest to play with others. There can be a lot of reasons. So one of the most important thing is that in children also there is a high incidence of depression. Not only adults, similarly older adults. When you talk about older adults, maybe geriatric population above 65, 70, also there is an incidence of depression. We feel that when they are growing adult, there is a less chance of depression. It is not like that. When they grow old also, there is a chance of depression. So it can affect any age. So when you can see womb to death, from the moment the child is born till death, the person can have depression.
Yeah. So can there be any disease behind this, like any other medical condition that can look like depression?
Okay, so again, whenever you need to tell that this patient is having depression, or you are planning to start a treatment, okay, like a medication and antidepressant or counseling, whatever be it is, so you have to definitely rule out some organic causes. So there can be some hormonal disorders, especially to do with thyroid. Hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, both are very prone to have this mental disorders. So majority of the time, you have when you go to a psychiatrist or when you see a doctor for to seek your mental health, definitely the doctor will be asking to do a panel of investigation to rule out that you don't have any of these treatable hormonal issues. So if any treatable hormonal issues like hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism is found, you can treat it and the person can be back to normal.
So it is. So you mean to say that it's very normal with someone who has all these hormonal issues to have a depression, something like
yeah,
depression?
so the major control of our mind is by these hormones. So this hormone will have a definite role to play in depression.
So while talking about the signs and symptoms, so how do the patient, when they come to a doctor, how do they look? Can you be able to find or diagnose if this particular patient has got depression by just looking at them?
Yeah, previously and all, when you see to seek a psychiatric help, the people used to have a huge stigma to come to and meet a psychiatrist or to seek to a physician, talk to a physician. So that was a stigma with the mental disease. Nowadays, the situation have changed dramatically, and people, whenever they feel low, they are ready to go and speak with the psychiatrist, and they're ready to take help. There is one good thing that has happened because of all this awareness. So when we say classically regarding depression, when we feel that okay, by seeing this person, I can say okay, he is depressed. When we classically say that he might be having a long beard, he'll be shabby, he's not taking care of himself well, maybe he would have worn some torn clothes, or maybe the buttons is on a right place. So this would be the classical thing that when we talk about depression, that is a picture that comes in our mind. But that's not at all true now. The person can be quite normal. He can just dressed up well and he can come to your office, come to your clinic and say that he is having this and this.
He can look very normal.
Very normal. He can be one among ourselves. So this will be the appearance. By appearance, it's very difficult to say. But when the person goes into a deeper stage, like severe stages of depression, there will be decreased eye-to-eye contact. When we are going to talk with the patient, there will be decreased eye-to-eye contact, and they will be hiding something in their mind, and they are not ready to open up. There are different types of personality. So some people are ready to open up, some people are not ready to open up. It's very difficult to judge a person by a look. Maybe when we say maniac, when a patient suddenly is in front of me, they will be wearing colorful clothes, maybe a dark lipsticks, all those things. But that doesn't mean that if there somebody is wearing a dark lipstick and a dark clothes, shiny clothes, that person is maniac. So there's nothing to differentiate by their looks. It's only by when you talk with them and we explore them more, only we will be able to know whether the patient is having depression or not.
So we're talking about depression. How is it actually clinically diagnosed?
See, clinically diagnosed when the person comes to meet a doctor, from the moment the person comes inside to the clinic, so how they feel insecure, that will be the one thing. They will feel insecure, they will have some anxiety in their face. So usually when they come to our face, they are not, they will be a lot of stressed up and they wanted to open up. That will be the usual scenario. When they sit, maybe there will be decreased eye to eye contact, and maybe you need to have start your interview slowly by really asking what is a real problem rather than shooting some questions to them directly. Maybe you can ask them to speak and let them explain what they are feeling right now. That will be the right approach. So you ask them what they wanted to tell. You need to listen. You need to be a very good listener. When you look into the psychiatrist, the majority of the time they need to listen to the patients very well. So whatever be the problem the patient want to tell, you need to listen to the patient first, and from that maybe you can go on to ask some leading questions. So you just don't shoot questions directly to the patient. Do you have any suicidal thoughts? Have you committed suicide at any point of time? These questions should never be
More
asked.
than better.
Yeah, directly to the patient. You slowly ask them, are they married? All the smaller, simple questions from there you can ask, and you can ask regarding their profession, how who all are there in the family. By slowly asking these questions, you can get in detail about the person. You can ask regarding the sleep cycle. So there are a lot of questionnaires available to grade depression, and you can say that this patient is really having depression. A lot of things are available, so we can use any of these scoring systems when you're seeing the patient. But in overall, for a general public to be aware of it, there is nothing like they will be depressed in the sense they will have decreased interest, lack of sleep, lack of interest, and they may have some suicidal thoughts. That is the classical presentation to a clinic.
Depression.
Yeah.
So is this depression curable or treatable?
So when you ask regarding this question, treatable and curable, definitely it is a treatable disease. It is not, we cannot say it's a curable disease, it's a treatable disease. So when you look into the treatment options that is available, so the first most important treatment option is available. You need not come to a doctor first of all. First of all, you can try to sort it out within your family itself. Maybe you feel lonely, you can talk with your partner, whoever it is, maybe with your friends, and you can open up to them what exactly is having your trouble. You having decreased sleep, so you tell them what are your real problems to them. A real friend can definitely help you out. For a husband, it will be his wife, or for the wife, it will be his husband. So these are the things that you need to do as a first line management, maybe at home, maybe to the parents. You can open up. That's the most important thing. Open up, and you tell the real problems to them. And if you don't feel enough that okay, I need more, that I need to have some more help, I'm not feeling good, I need more help, then definitely don't stop by going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a doctor itself, whoever it is. You meet a doctor and tell your symptoms, and the doctor need not start you on a medication. So maybe initially few counseling sessions. Maybe they will have one-to-one discussion, maybe a 30 to 45 minutes interview. Small counseling session can help many of them. But later on, if the doctor feels that if you need to start on a medication, they might start you on a smaller doses of medication, maybe just an anxiolytics, maybe a smaller dose of drugs that will have a good sleep period, maybe some mood stabilizers. So these are the usual drugs. So depending upon your severity of depression, the doctor will have an assessment, and depending upon that, the doctor will start the treatment.
So is this curable?
Again, when you ask me a question, is diabetes curable?
You have to tell me.
Yeah, it is actually a treatable. You can keep diabetes under control. So okay, when you tell hypertension, we can have hypertension under control. Similarly, we can keep depression under control by giving good mood stabilizers, and the person can have a normal life and they can be back to normal.
Which means they can get at any point of time with
Yeah.
any trigger.
Any trigger of event. It's you need to have a holistic approach, and just like when you ask regarding diabetes, you need to do exercise, you need to control your diet, you need to take your medications properly. Similarly, in a patient is having depression, you need to have a good support from the family, support from the friends, and also the medicines will help them. So it is a treatable disease. You can keep it under control, but whenever a new trigger develops, the patient can have depression again.
And is it possible for some other person to make you depressed?
Definitely yes. So definitely there can be a reason. There can be a lot of negativity that is going on around us. So there are people who wanted you to be depressed. So those people can come back to you and poke you, and they can give the same negativity, and you can go back to depression
And
again.
again is a trigger.
That's again a trigger. Just like that, when you look into a viral fever, when you speak about a viral fever, can it come back?
Definitely yes.
Yes. Similarly, the depression also can come back. When a new virus enters into our body, a new infection will develop and you will have a viral fever. Similarly, when you have a new trigger inside your mind, the depression again will rise up. So it is all depends upon the patient's mental stability. And one person who developed depression, he is more prone to develop depression next time also.
So you just said that the treatment also consists of giving patients mood stabilizers
Yes.
and all, and sleeping tablets and all.
Okay.
So is it possible that these tablets can have any side effects?
There is no medicine without any side effects. So to have a safer medicine, it's very, very difficult. When you have the right dose at the right time by the right prescription by a doctor, it is going to help you. When you are taking by your own, by not by the advice of a doctor, then you are in a trouble. So you should not add on in medicine without an advice of a doctor, and you should not stop the medicine without an advice of the doctor. So that is the most important thing.
And it is also believed that these antidepressant tablets are very addictive.
Rather calling them addictive, we can call them that they are dependents. You can have the patient might be dependent on it, so they will not be able to come out of it sometimes. So we can call it as dependence rather than call it as addiction. So maybe slowly when you come down on the medication, the doctor will see, and again the doctor will do a reassessment of your mental state, and he will make a decision whether to restart the medication or to decrease the medication. All those decisions has to be made by a qualified mental health specialist.
So you will be able to, if someone with depression who is taking these antidepressants,
Okay.
will be able to totally stop these medications at some
Definitely
point
yes.
of their life.
Yeah, yes. That all depends upon your treating doctor and your mental stability. So doctor will have a clear-cut idea how stable you are, how safe you are to stop this medication. So we'll have a plan for you. Definitely when you meet a psychiatrist, definitely you will have a plan for you. Once you feel that, when the doctor feels that you are stable enough to stop, they will definitely stop this medicines.
And it is also believed that these antidepressant drugs are not very good for the kidneys. And what is your take on this?
See, antidepressants, as if there are very good antidepressants that have come up with very good safety profile. When you look into the therapeutic index of these drugs, some of them are very good. Previously available drugs were having some side effects, but not to the kidneys. But it can be any drug when you are not taking at the right dose, at the right strength, it can create problems to you. So always it's better to take the advice of the doctor. Not better, always take the advice of the doctor and give the drugs and take the drugs accordingly.
So before ending this Q&A session, I
Okay.
just want to ask a very quick question.
Okay.
Like when I get stressed out or when I feel very anxious, I feel like my whole body, I'm just trembling from inside and my heart rate increases.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm having tremors and I breathe very, very faster. So can you please explain what it is?
See, this is classical. What you're saying is a panic attack. So whenever
So
you have-
anybody can have panic
anyone
attack.
can have a panic attack. When suddenly you are hearing a bad news, or suddenly you have a stressful event, you can suddenly go into this panic attack. So the classical symptom, you will be breathing faster, your hands will be numb, and you will be not be able to sometimes open your mouth and say anything. You will be breathing faster. As the breathing increases, your hand become more and more numb.
And I feel like it's getting very difficult to breathe. as
Breathe
well.
also, yeah, you will have difficulty in breathing. So that is classically what you are saying is a panic attack. So it has nothing to do with depression. So this at any
Anybody
point
can
anybody can have a panic attack when somebody suddenly is coming behind you and suddenly shouting at you. you can have this panic attack and you can breathe faster. So any small stress or trigger, you can have this panic attack.
So for someone with depression also might have this panic attack.
Yeah, they are mentally very much fragile. So they are more prone to develop this sort of panic attack. But panic attack is nothing to do with depression. Anyone can have at any point of time.
So I really liked the Q&A session with you, and it was very helpful. And I hope all my audience also found this Q&A session very useful. And do you have anything to tell my audience or anybody watching this?
Yeah, the most important thing is that when you have depression or you don't feel stable enough, just talk with your family or talk with your loved ones. So that will be, and don't hesitate to open up. Just don't hesitate to open up and avoid negativity. So try to be more positive. So whatever there is a negative thing, there is a positive thing always. So you take that positive thing and you carry over with that positive thoughts. So that is my suggestion. And also finally, she's making a lot of effort for her video. So I want each one of you to subscribe and to click on the bell button so that you will get notified every single time when she posts a new video.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Thank you.
And now guys, I'm going to be sharing my personal depression story, which I was very reluctant to be opening up about because I was very ashamed at, back once. But now I know it is nothing to be ashamed of, because there's a lot of people who go through this. This is just like a normal, any other disease like diabetes, like thyroid, like PCOS, like any other disease. This is just like a normal disease, nothing to be ashamed about. I've realized that, being in a healthy relationship with people, always having a healthy distance with negative people is what has got me to a better place. And speaking about this depression of mine, my mom was the first one who found that I'm not normal. I'm not being normal. So I've always been a very happy kid in my college and school days. But after marriage, myself and my husband, we have all had difficult times like any other couple. Every couple go through in a marriage, every couple go through a difficult time. We did as a couple together. So I'm very proud of where we are now after facing all these difficult times, because we have grown stronger, guys, to be very honest. So I'm very happy, touch wood. And not a lot of people helped us through this, because everybody wanted to pull me down. So my mom, my dad, my brother, without whom I don't know where I would be without them, to be very honest. So I owe my life to them, and I'm very lucky to have my parents. And I'm very lucky to have the people in my life now. So speaking about the depression, what are the symptoms I had was, I always used to cry, guys, like sit in one corner of the room and cry all the time. And I don't usually come out of my room. Even if someone had to see me, they had to come to my room, because I'm confined to a single room, and I don't talk to my friends. That is how I lost a lot of my friends. But I'm fine with it, because people who are meant to stay with your life will stay in your life no matter what. Even though I have 2-3 friends, even though I just have 2-3 friends, I'm absolutely okay with it, because we don't talk every day, but I know that person is there for me and I'm there for that person. So I'm happy with just having 2-3 friends, or to talk out to them, to reach out to them. And while talking about symptoms, I have heard a lot of people say that they overeat when they had depression. But in my case, it's just totally opposite, because I didn't eat, yet I was gaining a lot of weight. So this is how I was. I never eat, yet I gained a lot of weight. And if I had to go to a place, I'll be all pumped up, all fully into, all energetic. I'll get dressed up. I'll wear nice costumes and all. I get dressed up. I'll do like makeup, wear nice lipstick, and I'll be very neat. So I'll go out. I'll reach that place. When I go there, everything in a moment changes totally. Like I'll be like I was very happy. I was very into getting ready, but when I reach that place, I feel like, why did I even come there? I never had a vision of what my life has in store for me. I never thought about my future. Everything was so blank, you guys. So I don't know what I was going through. That is when I opened up. I opened up to my family, my mom, my dad, my husband. So we all have gone through a lot. I would say what they have gone through is more than what I'm going through, because I just sit and cry on one place. But watching your loved ones cry is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. So I still feel bad about myself doing that to my loved ones, and but I'm so proud of my family, guys, because I don't know. I'm telling you guys again. Without them, I would be nowhere. They are my support system. They support me in everything that I do, and I love them unconditionally. People say that there's no unconditional love, but I do believe in unconditional love. Without them, I'm nowhere. And my son, he's the reason why I live. So I absolutely love my family. Touch wood. And yeah, when I had all these symptoms, I didn't have suicidal thoughts as such, but I've had a lot of panic attacks. I had quite a lot of panic attacks. Like, I've always gone to hospitals since I've had palpitations, all these things, and they would say nothing, just your heart rate is more, this, that, and all, and they'll send me back saying it's nothing. But yeah, I've also had this thyroid, so I think these are all interconnected, and these symptoms, as my husband explained, these symptoms can look interconnected. And yeah, this is how I seek help, because I don't want to put my family and me in danger. So I seeked help, so that really helped me. But now I wouldn't say that I'm totally out of this depression. I do have my good days and my good share of good days and bad days. Still, I take care of my mental health. I keep all these negative people. I maximum try keeping the negative people away from my life. It's okay. Even if people tell me that I'm this, that, and also, I'm not bothered, because I'm not the person that they are describing. I'm who I am. Nobody can tell me to do this or do that. I'm the person, only myself and my family know who I am truly, guys. Not anybody else knows in this whole world, I would say. And I'm okay. Even if someone tells me anything on my face also, I'm like, okay. I've come to a point that anything is fine. Just that I just need my mental health. I don't want any negativity. I'm not ready to take any negativity now. If someone talks to me, if someone, comes and talks something negative to me, I'm like, okay, I'm just going away. That is how I am. It is very important for me to be, mentally stable, to be mentally able to be positive. That is the most important thing. And what I wanted to tell everybody of you is, like, take care of your mental health. Mental health is the most important thing. Seek help immediately when you feel very down, when you feel like you are depressed. For someone for someone watching whose children or your spouse is going through this depression, please seek help. Please get them help as soon as you can, because this depression can put suicidal thoughts in their mind, and it is not at all healthy. They are in danger. It means that they are in danger. Only you as a family can bring this person out of depression, guys. It is very treatable. And as the doctor said before, it is very treatable. You can have a very good life. So yeah, I also wanted to put there that suicide is not a solution. I got out of this depression, and so can you. Believe in yourself, believe in your loved ones, believe in your family. Be positive, eat healthy, stay happy, and do exercise, yoga. Keep your mind calm. Do meditation. I think this all helps you really well. Again, suicide is not a solution. Don't put your loved ones in a sorrowful life, guys. This is the most important thing that I wanted to tell you. Suicide is never the solution. Don't put your loved ones or someone who loves you in sorrowful life, because they really love you and they cannot get over this in their whole life. So yeah, take care of yourself, be positive, and I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comment section if this video was helpful. I'll be more than happy to know your comments. And yeah, I'll hopefully catch you all guys in my next interesting video. Bye.